I've been away doing a live event for the last couple of weeks, and I'm glad to be back in my tower and um, coming back to you live. I've been thinking about what to present in my second attempt here on Substack, and uh, it's hard to want to go live when I'm feeling grumpy or burned out. But the practice that I'm presenting here isn't for a perfect life. It's not for someone who's got it all together every day. It's not for somebody who wakes up fine every time. It's for those of us who have some edges on us and need to take action to stay present in our lives and to connect with other people and ourselves and to feel good in our skin. So we show up no matter what, because that's what the work calls for. So I watched my last broadcast, and what I came away with after watching it was that I wished I would have shared something more personal, more personal things. What I want most is to be helpful to other people who are struggling or searching for something useful in recovery. My experience at getting sober 30 years ago was that there are a lot of gaps for me. And it was hard to be awake and alive just on a regular day, to just draw a breath and walk around and do normal human things, And at that time, I had a great therapist that I worked with, and I had people in my life who showed me techniques. I was in a bachelor's program where I learned a lot about creative recovery. And then I was in a master's program where I learned more and then developed things that were my own. So those things all come together to help me navigate challenges that still show up for me, And you might think, oh, somebody with 30 years of sobriety, why would somebody with 30 years of sobriety still need something? It's a good question. And I think I used to believe that someday I would arrive to some new land where I was just fine all the time. And that didn't happen. And it was suggested to me that it's just part of being human too. It's not necessarily just those of us who struggle or have struggled with substance abuse or other mental health challenges, that it's hard to just be a human, especially today in this world. And many people feel a sense of disconnection and feel a sense of grief and loss and difficulty. And so it is human, not just being a recovery person. And then there's layers for me of trauma recovery, right? So it's not just you put the substance down and then tra la la, life is great, you know. Um, what was waiting for me when I stopped drinking and using were layers of feelings that I couldn't even name. I had no understanding of and no skills for managing, you know. So it's been a long journey of finding my way through those things, and I've had great helpers. And I just want to pass on some of that knowledge and experience to others. So um, I'll share with you my Spritey coin. This is uh, I got this in January. One of my sponsees sent it to me, and it was very sweet. And that was really significant to me because when I got to AA, I didn't have any other sober people in my life before that. And I had been sober for 14 years. So I'm grateful to be part of a community where others think about me and I get to think about them and we share support. Um, Tonight, I want to present and share this workshop that I did for myself recently. I thought I don't, it's really hard for me to do things halfway, right? To dabble around the edges of things. So if I'm going to share something real, I'm going to share what's most current for me because that just seems authentic, you know. So one of the ongoing layers that shows up for me in recovery is this feeling of abandonment, and it can really take me down. It can really sabotage my day. It can sabotage my relationships. It can sabotage my self worth, you know. And I haven't always recognized it when it shows up. It can look like other things, mostly it looks like me thinking someone else has done something shitty, right? I have this idea that somebody should be doing something and they're not doing it. And it could be my daughter, it can be a family member, it could be a friend, it could be my roommate, it could be former lovers, ex-husband, um, you know, the government. The list can go on and on of who I think should be doing what when and why I'm a victim of it, So it often shows up like that. Me being pissed off, me being feeling like isolating and being mad at other people that I'm isolating, which is hilarious. But when it's happening, it doesn't feel hilarious and it feels real, right? But I've learned over the years in recovery that my mind lies to me, it tricks me. And if I'm disturbed, it's because I'm disturbed, right? And when I'm well in myself, when I'm connected to myself, and things can happen, the most outrageous things can happen. People can do the most outrageous things, and I laugh. I ask questions. I become concerned for them. Right? It's a completely different response, So, so this showed up for me again recently. This feeling of abandonment, and it began because my daughter had said she was going to move home to California. She lives in New Orleans, and she changed her mind. And so there it was, me feeling petty and pissed, and it's just not appropriate for me to, go off on my daughter. How dare you? How dare you not come home, child? um, and so when stuff shows up, I know where to go and what to do. So I pulled cards to begin with. So I did a 6-card draw. And the 6 cards I decided ahead of time were represented by card 1 was the inner child. Card 2 was the wound. Card 3 was the meaning that was made from the event, like the idea that you get, the story you tell yourself. Card 4 was the protector. This is the one who shows up when I feel like I'm in danger. Card 5 was the cost. What does that protector cost me? And then card 6 was the one who stays, the one, my current self that I get to choose to be, right? So I'm going to read the beginning of this workshop out loud. It's called I'm Still Here, Healing Abandonment and Reclaiming the Self. There was a moment, maybe small, maybe repeated, when something in you reached out and nothing reached back. No one named it as abandonment at the time. It may have looked like silence, distance, distraction, or love that came and went without warning. But your body knew. It learned to wait, to watch, to adjust. It learned that connection could disappear and that you might have to carry yourself through the space it left behind. This workshop begins there, not to reopen the wound for its own sake, but to return with you to that place differently this time, not alone, not unseen. Because the truth that remains underneath all of it is this: you are still here and you can learn to stay. So the first card I pulled is the Page of Cups from the Tarot. And in my deck, the Luna Botanica, it's the Fiddlehead Fern. So this is the innocent child, or the feeling child, just our most innocent and vulnerable self. The Page of Cups, or the Fiddlehead Fern, stands at the edge of the emotional world, open, curious, and unguarded. This is the part of you that believed feeling was safe, that reaching would be met, that love would respond. The page does not yet protect itself. It offers its heart without strategy. In the moment of abandonment, this archetype does not understand why connection disappears. It only knows that it has spoken and something did not answer. And still, even after the silence, the page remains capable of wonder, of tenderness, of calling out again. Is anyone there? So my journal prompt that I wrote for myself was, what does the world feel like in moments unguarded? And here's how I responded to it. Wide open, sunny, but early morning. Oh, and here it is in my notebook. So this is how I do them. I create the workshop and then I paste them into my notebook and I write the responses. Okay. Wide open, sunny, but early morning backyard, grass and trees, happy and fulfilled, with wonder. But the ground is hard. Leaves are sharp. Before light, we were worried. There is not a space before anxiety at absence. So I can't find a place where anxiety didn't exist. Even in my most childlike wonder state, most innocent state, there isn't a place in me that I can find where there isn't also already anxiety and worry. So the belief already exists. All that will happen next is someone will leave. So that's my earliest sense. And then I wrote, the birds say, shh, don't give yourself away. Stay safe, stay siloed, retain your information, lie to control how others see you. Don't give clues so you can't be located. So stay hidden. And there's this image that I have of my daughter that I think about when I think about this archetype, because she was she was just walking, tiny little naked baby in the garden at our home in Washington State, and there were ferns in our front yard, and she was just walking around. She's little pink, redheaded, tiny little thing, and just alight with happiness and just in the ferns, just and so that's the archetype to me. And so I think about that hiding in the ferns. That's the safe place to be. So then the next card that I pulled is the wound. So the wound is cornflowers in my deck, or the 5 of Pentacles in the tarot, right? So the 5 of Pentacles, and look at them. They look miserable. They're in the snow. He's got crutches. He's lost an eye. Has he lost an eye? Yeah, he's lost an eye. And she looks cold. She's all bundled up, but barefoot in the snow. And they're outside of what looks like to be a church. So that is the archetype here. And why does the corn moon, so the corn moon, it looks like it should be maybe abundance, right? Because it's full moon, it's got a fish, it's the time of harvest, why would that be exile? And it's because the corn flower is not the crop. The corn flower is the flower that grows in the margins of the crop. So the harvest is going to come, and they're going to take the corn, or they're going to take the wheat, and the corn flower will be thrown aside. It's considered to be the weed. So it represents exile, or being like not special, not considered special. Okay, this is the wound. The 5 Pentacles walks through the cold, past lit windows it cannot enter. This is the archetype of exclusion, of standing just outside warmth, just beyond care. It is not only loss, but visible loss, seeing what exists and knowing it is not reaching you. In this space, the body learns what it means to go without, to feel the absence of support, of stability, of being held. The 5 of Pentacles does not always cry out. Sometimes it simply keeps moving, carrying the quiet knowledge, I am on my own out here. It's also the card of disillusionment. So my journal prompts for this card are to write about a moment of abandonment or feeling of being left. Write from the perspective of a witness to the abandonment. And this is what I wrote. He was distant even when he was here. We learn to court his presence by keeping him comfortable, happy, content, pleased. Don't say too much. Don't need too much. Don't give yourself away that you count on him. He can't handle it. The world seems cold and dark. Mama cries and doesn't play with us. She doesn't feed us. Looking down from above, I see two children who are in over their heads. Two child parents, a man and a woman, my parents. They were 24 and 25. Two babies, me and my sister. Two babies who figure out how to make do. How to make do. Me and my sister figured out how to make do. So that's the cornflower. The sunlight is on the crop, and we are the cornflowers in the margins, getting by on very little. So the next card is the meaning that was made from it, right? So here's the facts, here's the context, and then here's the story that was made. So that card is Echinacea, or the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords and Echinacea together. What is that? She's standing in the Echinacea field. She's all tied up and she's holding a baby. What is that? An echinacea is about surviving harsh conditions, right? The echinacea cone flower grows on the prairie. There's not a lot of water on the prairie. It survives without a lot of water. It's got this protective cone in the middle where its seeds are protected. And the Eight of Swords is bound not by reality, but by interpretation, right? Because she's tied up and she's got a blindfold on, but her hands are actually free. So she could take her blindfold off and untie herself. She could. But she feels that she can't. Surrounded by blades, blindfolded, it cannot see the space that still exists around it. She can't see what's around her. This archetype forms in the mind, tries to make sense of pain it cannot control. It builds a structure. This happened because of me. I must be the reason. The swords become beliefs, tight, convincing, self-reinforcing. The Eight of Swords does not realize it can move. It has learned to stand still inside its own conclusions, believing the story is truth. Do you relate? I relate. So the journal prompts are, what did I learn about love from being left? And when do I still expect people to leave, even when they haven't? And here's what I wrote. Love ends, and when it does, you will be cold, hungry, alone, and blamed. Everything will be harder. Love is conditional. You have to earn it. Sexy women get more love. Women who say what they feel, see, or think get left. Anytime someone, especially a man, is uncomfortable, unhappy, angry, annoyed, displeased, I am certain he will soon leave me. I expect to be left. Absolutely. So that's the protective cone, right? That set of beliefs. I can stay surviving inside of harsh conditions if I just stay inside of this set of beliefs and don't go outside the lines. So card 4 is the protector, right? So who shows up when I'm feeling this way? When the story shows up in my head, who shows up? Wow, that's a good one. So this is Spinning Moon. Spinning Moon. She's very busy. Look at her. She's got a lot to do. And then this is the Seven of Swords. This guy is taking all the ideas and running off. He's like, I'm in control here. We've got a lot to do. Seven of Swords moves quietly, deliberately, aware of what has been lost and what now must be guarded. This is the strategist, the one who adapts after trust has been broken. It learns to take only what it can carry, to reveal only what is necessary, to leave before being left again. Taking my toys and going home. This archetype is not careless. It is precise. It survives by staying one step ahead of disappointment. But in its careful movement, it also carries a question it rarely asks out loud. What would happen if I stayed instead of slipping away? And the spinning moon, the botanical with it is wild garlic, which are also ramps. They're known as ramps in the Appalachia. They grow wild. And they have like a spicy taste to them, right? Like garlic, like a spicy garlic taste, you know? So what I wrote, who do I become when I'm in fear of abandonment now? So this is who shows up. 1, the rabbit, scared, hiding in the closet, heart beating fast, trying to keep from showing it. 2, critical. The one who is displeased, the one who puts someone in their place. Oh yeah, she's popular. 3, demanding, tight-lipped and silently disapproving to guilt someone into meeting my needs. My grandmother was the queen of that shit. 4, the crying woman, tragic, on my bed, wailing and gnashing of teeth, dying with grief. I can't. So those are my favorite protectors. Yeah. And just roll the dice, which one shows up on any given day. So what is the cost? What is the cost? The 4 of Cups. Okay, so, or St. John's wort. So what is this? 4 of Cups. 4 of Cups, or St. John's wort. And St. John's wort is soothing. St. John's wort is for soothing the mind. Why is this a cost? How is this the cost of this protector? Well, 4 of Cups sits with the arms crossed, eyes turned inward, while an offering hovers just within reach, you know? So there's something being offered, but we're not partaking. This is the archetype of disengagement, not because nothing is offered, but because receiving no longer feels safe or meaningful. After loss and adaptation, the system learns to flatten its response. So it's just better to not need anything. We're just gonna, I'm self-soothing. I'm self-soothing. Desire quiets, interest fades. The 4 of Cups does not reject connection outright. It simply no longer reaches for it. What once hurt too much to lose becomes something easier to not feel at all. So that's the cost. That's the cost of showing up in those ways. Trying to control showing up in those ways, right? Just have to go still and self-soothe. And how is this abandoning myself, right? In what ways do I abandon myself now, right? So this is emotional withdrawal and disengagement, which is a way of abandoning myself, right? And what does that look like? I don't take care of myself. I don't eat healthy. I don't want to go out. I don't want to be in public. I don't want to go to the pool and swim, which I love doing. I don't um, I don't care about watching anything or doing anything really. Um, and I can stay in that spot and just be isolated. So, what I wrote was neither action brings peace. Chasing exhausts, and the chase never arrives. Withdrawing is unsustainable, as eventually we all need connection. When we arrive thirsty, we need too much at once. I abandon myself by not saying how I feel when it happens. I put aside my feelings until they begin to eat me alive. I isolate and rely on the least amount of connection I can get by with. That's been a long strategy. So then, what's the solution? What is the one who stays? So the one who stays is the Queen of Pentacles. Here's her in a standard tarot deck. And there's a rabbit in there with her. She has a coin, so she has abundance. And the rabbit isn't hiding. It looks like it feels safe in her presence. And it looks like abundance where she is. Looks like a beautiful garden. In my deck, it is the nesting moon. And the botanical is chickweed. And this card is all about hearth tending. This is about attending to the home, attending to the environment where you live, attending to creature comforts, and making a home where others can also be. The one who stays, the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles does not wait to be cared for. She creates care. Rooted, steady, and attentive, she tends to what is in her hands and builds warmth where she stands. This archetype is not about perfection, but consistency, showing up, nourishing, responding. The Queen does not abandon what is hers to hold, including herself. She understands that safety can be cultivated, that stability can be practiced, that presence can be chosen again and again. In her world, care is not something hoped for, it is something made real. So my journal prompts are, what does staying actually look like in daily life? What small act today proves I'm no longer alone with this? So for me, staying is what I wrote, honoring the small twinges when feeling emerges, noticing it, and allowing it room to exist, whatever I'm feeling. Asking for something directly, giving myself more options more regularly, not waiting to feel bad before I resource myself with something good that I need. Staying in community, expanding my community, spending time in nature, going to an Al-Anon meeting, going to an AA meeting, meeting a friend, and having lunch or dinner or tea or coffee and taking a walk or anything like that, saying how I feel to another person, practicing gratitude when others connect with me. So acknowledging how valuable that is to me and remarking on it and thanking people and being reciprocal when it shows up, not taking it for granted. Performing acts of kindness and generosity for those that I love, rather than focusing on how deprived I feel. I take an opposite action. I treat others how I wished I'd been treated, right? I ask questions of others instead of assuming I know something about them. I show up for myself and others. I balance rest and devotional acts of home care. So, what does that mean? Devotional acts of home care. Like, I don't always want to do my dishes. I don't always want to clean my space or organize my space or, and if I, it's easier if I think of it as an act of devotion, an act of love. I can't always summon that for myself. Sometimes I perform an act of devotion for another person. Like if I have a friend coming over, I will clean for them. If I think my roommate doesn't like my dirty dishes, I can motivate myself to wash them. Making healthy food, trading favors with loved ones and people in my community. So these are all ways of staying, ways of showing up for myself. And if I do them enough, then I don't feel deprived and I don't feel isolated. And when I have the willingness to do them for myself, I don't turn into the crying woman on the bed and I don't turn into the critical woman complaining, and I don't hide scared in my space, and I don't get all demanding and tight-lipped and weird on people. So these are the actions that I can take. So after writing in my journal, I want to concretize the insights that I've gathered, right? So I always want to close these intellectual pursuits by performing a small ritual. I'm going to begin by, as I always do, lighting a candle. Let's see if I can. Be present. Be here now. And then I'm going to take the wellness blend. So this has a mixture of different botanicals in it. This one is got chamomile, which is one of the botanical solutions in our toolbox. It also has Queen Anne's lace, hawthorn, elderberry, rosemary, and eucalyptus. For me, this is the antidote to being dysregulated and feeling unsafe. I can crush this in a mortar and pestle, but tonight what I want to do is do a little smudge. So one of the things that I would do is I would make a cup of tea in my kitchen. Chamomile and lemon balm are good soothing teas. Lavender might be a good one to use. And then I bring it to my altar area. And then this is a piece of charcoal. I buy these in packets. And I'm just activating this. These are what's used in braziers when you're burning chunky incense or resins. And since this has hawthorn and a bunch of chunky aspects to it, It doesn't burn as easily as sage. So now it's beginning to burn the piece of charcoal. And it will turn into ash and smolder. And so I'm going to take my botanical and sprinkle it over the charcoal. And that's releasing a smoke that I can smell. And this is just going to cleanse away anything that I'm holding on to. I'm going to use my feather, and I'm just going to waft that over my heart. Just let that smoke cleanse away the past, things I'm holding on to, and bring me present into this moment where I know that I'm not being left, that I can be here for myself if someone does leave, and that it's a world of 8 billion people. I'll probably find somebody to hang out with. So we're going to let that smolder. The last thing I'll do in my ritual is I would blow out the candle, and I would take myself out somewhere, sit by the river outside, listen to the ducks, walk around a little bit, breathe the fresh air, and then just let my feelings resonate and let them show up as they want to show up and arise and pass away. Give them lots of space. And when I do this, it brings me more present, allows me to take action that isn't damaging to others, isn't damaging to myself, and helps me be okay in my own skin. So thanks for joining me tonight here at the shed. Does anybody have any questions or comments that they want to make? All right. Well, I don't see any questions. If you're watching this after the live broadcast, please feel free to message me or reach out through Substack. Oh, Dawn's asking, what will I do in the next presentation? Good question. You mean I have to commit now? You'll find out when I get there, I guess. I have planned another live broadcast for the next full moon, which is coming up on the 31st. And during that live broadcast, I think I might probably look into the archetype of belonging, which has been coming up in my one-on-one sessions with my clients. And so it's also the season of belonging in the calendar year. So that's my plan. And thanks so much for joining me tonight. And hope you're got something useful out of this workshop. And I look forward to seeing you again next time.